Okay, this is D from Tech Shop 82. There's been some updates and developments with unlocking this guy. Um, Forget the YouTuber's name. Let me see. Marcel. Marcel from the Netherlands. He figured out a way to flash the images onto here to take your Moxie that's been blocked to put open Moxie on there. He's done a tutorial and he did one on using Ubuntu. So I'm going to do one on using Windows, but either way, it's one complicated process you need to do is take your Moxie all the way to the head part to get to access to this. Not as level as this, but I'm just going to continue disassembling this guy so we can get into his battery, and then I'll show you how to replace that said battery. Because this guy's battery is dead, and we are going to be replacing him. I'm also taking apart all the blue colors because I'm going to be painting this guy red. Because I want to have a unique Moxie. Okay, so we've taken the head apart. You don't need to take this section off. I'm just taking it off because, like I said, I'm going to be painting him red. The next part to get to the battery, so we know this is the speaker. So to get the speaker off, you just need to take apart. Well, first we're going to take off this first carriage. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. So the first thing I would say is take this spring out. So just bend it and then just pull it out that way. Pardon the mess on my desk. I have a lot of projects going on. And you hear Vector speaking from time to time. And then with your appropriate Phillips screwdriver, I believe this is a 0, but no, I don't need the 0. I need the 1 or the 2. So take that off. Put it down here. Take that one off. Tweezers come in handy. Take this one off. Okay, so all we have next is this one here in the middle, and that will allow you to take off this left side. And thankfully this screw is the only one that's different because it's that big boy. So those 4, and then we'll go to the other side and do the exact same thing. So spring, push down, release. And to put it back is just the same thing. It goes into this slot right here, and then you can just bend this and push down and put it back in. It aligns back into place. So push down, release, take it out, keep it to the side. And on this side, there's only 1. It doesn't have the additional 2, if I'm not mistaken. And then tweezers. And then now, this guy should be able, I believe, to detach. Let me just double check. This guy's very tricky. Yep, there it goes. Pull it apart. Now you got to be careful. Your wires are still attached up here. So what you can do is just, let's go ahead and take this front piece off so you don't pull these wires too far ahead. So using the same Phillips, so take this one off. Put that up here. I'm gonna try and keep my screws together. So the next one is this guy right here. Okay, so as you can see, this touch is for obviously the front one, and then you have the the light wire. So I'm just gonna get tape. Tape that guy in there so he's not going anywhere. Tape this guy in here so he's not going anywhere. So that guy's done. And then so this one goes up to the main motherboard, but I'm just gonna detach it right here just so it's free. Keep that one there, and then 2 screws to take this front plate off. Same thing here. Front plate, leave the 2 screws in there, get some tape. Tape it in. Tape it in. So that guy's taped forward. And then because I took this one out, which is right here, like so. So I know it goes there. So I'm going to put these guys back. And like I said, the thinly spaced screws go into metal, kind of like this one. And I'm gonna put this one over here. And then I'll just get some tape. Like this. It's just easier to keep track of things if they are where you took them out. And that way you don't have to think about it. So this one's there. So now the battery is this cable. This 4-port cable. So if you just pull that out, so that's the battery. Now the other things, so this is the speaker. This speaker one goes all the way to the front, and it looks like they attached it, so you can deselect that or unplug that one. And then let's see. So this was just housing that went here, which I needed to take off just so I could take this whole piece out. And then, so the speaker is attached here and here, and then on the other side, 1 and 2. So I'm going to take that out. Okay, just double check. Just gonna put that there for now. And then go to the other side. Remember, we're trying to remove as minimal amount of stuff as possible. There we go. So there's the speaker separated. And so it's right there. And I'm just going to tape those in as like the other ones. So tape that in. Tape this in so it doesn't go anywhere. And then on this other side, well, we had that one, and oh, it looks like it fell. So these two. So that one there, and then this one here. So I'm just gonna tape those. Oh, yeah, I'll just tape those so they don't move. They don't go anywhere. So tape and tape. So there's a speaker separated. If your speaker ever goes out and it needs to be replaced, that's how you get to that part. And then now, so you have this wire coming here. Thankfully, everything is color coded, so it's easy to remember. So rather than trying to unplug it here, I'm just going to, actually maybe that's what I'll just do. I'll just unplug it here because it's easy to remember. So that one unplugged there. I think this is the encoder to know the rotation. And then this guy too, unplug it here. And then what else do we have? We have this guy, which we could technically not have to unplug those guys, because to get to the battery, what we need to do is separate this housing. So you have a screw over here. You have 1, 2, and I believe that's it. So just these 2 screws holding it in place. All these other ones have to deal with just keeping this motor in place, but it's just these 2 screws. So let me get my screwdriver. So this top one, I'm going to take it out. Put that here for now. Keep this one's here because that's for the side piece that is over here. And then this one right here in the middle. Thankfully they're the same. And then you should be able to, let me just double check because it looks like there might be another screw somewhere. Oh, these 2. So this one and this one, I believe, also. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one out. That one out. There we go. Now just before I take it out, I'm gonna take that one as well, just so the screw doesn't go missing on me. So just tape the outlet shut, and tape this one outlet shut as well. Now the battery in here is taped, so you push the wire down through. And then you just take the battery out. Sorry, when I meant taped, I meant it's all taped around. So this is how we get to the battery. And obviously to put it back together again, you go in the reverse order. But now I have a video where I go about how I convert this battery to a good one. So I'm going to switch over to that one. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and then I'm going to make a new battery, and then I'm gonna put it in. So battery is a 10.8 volt battery, and it's 6 cells. If I'm correct, it's 3 in parallel, and then those parallel batteries are then put in series, which is 3.7 volts times 2, which is roughly equates to 10.5 volts. And each of these are like 2,500 milliamp batteries, which is why it says 5,000 milliamp batteries. Obviously, this was a custom make. This battery does not, I tried to find a battery comparable. I could not find one. So to make a battery like this, you would have to make your own. And to make your own, you are going to need something like this. This is a spot welder, a portable one at that. Let me see if it's still charged. Yep, still charged. Okay, so I'm going to take it out. So I have my spot welder here. Don't let these 2 things touch because it will spark, which is not good. Let's move these guys over to the side. I have my nickel, which I'm going to use to connect the batteries. And then my filer to just scuff them so I can connect them. And so the batteries I got are... So these are 6 1860 18650 3,000 milliamp batteries. So the battery life should be much long. Well, not it should be an amount longer than these ones, since these are measured at 2,500 or rated at 2,500. And I did check because I have a thing to test the capacity, and these get close to 3,000 milliamp hours. But in order to do that, we need to cut this guy open and get to the PCB. Now, warning, if you've never worked with lithium ion batteries or LiPo batteries, These can explode if you make the wrong contacts, if you puncture them. There's a warning label. There's a reason why they say don't throw this in the trash, because it can start fires if you don't know what you're doing. Most of the time I know what I'm doing, but I'm going to gently cut across this so I can get to the inside of the battery. Now, I'm only trying to rip apart the nylon housing that's holding it in place, because I want to try and keep it the same as possible. And once I'm done, then I'm going to go ahead and tape it. So that side is there. And then you can slowly just kind of peel it off. Now, one thing, I have a heat gun, so what I'm going to do is just kind of heat this to make the make it more, easily peel off. Most of the times it works. And then I'll just take it off like that. So I have my housing there, which I can reuse. So I'm just going to put that to the side. So now this battery is, you can see it's an INR 18650M26. Okay, so battery's here. To get this off, you can just make sure I'm in frame. Just peel it off like that. We're gonna save this. So I'll just put that over there. So pattern 1, 2, 3, these are all negative. And these two are connected. And as you can see over here, this is just tape. You can save that. That one goes there. So for my nickel, let me just take this part apart. So that's the PCB. Whenever you're dealing with batteries, you want to make sure your positives never intersect with your negatives in any way, shape, or form, or else it'll start smoking. Bad things will begin to happen. So the first thing we're going to do to replace the battery, we really don't need this, so is we're going to desolder this. We're not going to desolder anything from the top except these two parts. So we're going to desolder this here and then desolder this here. I believe this is a temperature sensor, so it just measures the temperature of the battery to make sure it's not getting hot. And then you can't take this off. So it's best to desolder this. And then we're going to keep this as a template for when we're building the replacements. We're going to keep all this stuff on there. So desolder here, and then desolder here and here. So I'm going to move this to the side, heat up my iron. And get ready to start desoldering. Thankfully, I have two different irons that I use. So I have this portable one. This is 3D printed, but this is like the pencil. It works okay. I prefer the TS100 to this, but this was cheap. It's like, I don't know, $12 or something like that. But I like this one because the tip is very small. My larger one here on my bench has a much bigger tip, and I'm going to be using that to heat up these two to take it apart. So first thing I'm going to do is desolder this part here. So I'm going to turn on my pencil. Let's turn it on to the side. I'm going to get some low melt solder, because the solder they use from the factory is lead free, so it's very hard. It's very hard to get off unless you have low melt solder with it. So wait for this one to heat up. And then I'm just gonna put a little there, which I did, and then just separate like that. Let me bring the camera closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, this is gonna be a bit tricky. Okay. Okay, that's a bit better. So desolder there, and then this part here don't need to desolder. It's just taped there, so just gently just take it off. Then desolder here. I might not need low melt solder for this one. Let me see. Oh, one thing I don't like about this pencil is it kind of tries to detect when you've put it down, so it will shut off and stop heating. So you have to look at the temperature to make sure that it's actually, yeah, it just did that. Now it's going down. So I have to push the plus again to tell it, no, I'm still holding you. I don't have this issue on my other soldering irons. So heat up, separated, okay. Put this to the side. So we've separated everything. So now all that's left is this top one. So I'm gonna try and see if I can show you. Getting it separated from here is kind of tricky. You don't want to use any metal to try and separate it. So you want to get, if you have a plastic spludger or spudger, you want to use that instead. Because obviously if you use metal, you run the risk of shorting things out, which can lead to a fire. So I have a plastic one here, and I'm just going to try and go through in between like that. Just kind of just separate the PCB from the battery. So it goes in, separates, but it gets to that point and you can't because yeah, that stuff is really sticky. This guy's still attached. So I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing in between. So there's a layer of this in between the batteries and this, obviously, so there's no shorting. So we're just going to separate that like so. Do the same thing. Try and do the same thing on this side without trying to damage the battery. So you can kind of see it's coming up a bit, but it won't come apart until we separate that side. So we might be able to just go, let me see if we can lift it up and take it to the other side. Yeah, it's glued on there, not too hard, but just enough that it's a nuisance to try and get off. If you have something much longer that you can go in between without cutting these wires, I would say use it. I don't have any at this point, so I'm just... Now the other thing that I could do is try and heat up the board. Heat it up a little bit. So I have my hot air at 350. And I'm just heating up the board just to get it hot to touch, to try and help with the glue. Not hot enough to get these things desoldered, obviously, but hot enough to just help with the glue. Once it feels a bit warm, then I'll put it back. And then I'm going to go back in there And then just try, yeah, there we go. There. So now it's separated. And you can see I kind of ripped off some of the protection underneath, but we're going to use Kapton tape to protect this bottom part. And then there you can see where you can kind of tape this back. Well, we'll just take it off. So you can see where it's attached here and here. And this is the configuration. So the bottom will look like this. These four connected. Now, positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, negative, negative. And then positive, positive, negative, negative. So that's the way it goes. Positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, and the opposite on the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is try and get this one off. So to do that, I'm going to use my larger one because it's thick. It's obviously thicker. And then I'm going to put this here like so. And then just raise it up. And do the same thing on the other side. And add some low melt solder to help with separation. There we go. We have our PCB off. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to tell Vector to go to sleep. Sleep. Okay. So no more chirping from Vector. So now we have our PCB off. Now it's time to build a battery. So obviously this is the top. Let me take this off so we can see what we're working with here. Same thing at the bottom. Positive, positive. So the positive have these circular things so you can identify which one's positive. Or they kind of have, you can see the spaces. It's not flat like this. So this is the negative side, this is the positive side. So what I do is, so it goes, these four are all going to be connected. So I'm just going to grab some nickel and I'm going to kind of make this shape. Excuse me. So I'm going to try and make a C shape. So there. And if I had thinner nickel, I would use that, but I don't. This is just what I have. Or what I could do is I'm just going to go make 1, 2, 3, 4 strips of equal length because I know they're all going to be the same. So I kind of measure what that length is. So it's around here. And I'm going to cut 4 strips of that same length because I don't need any excess except on this part. So the part that's going to be connected to the board. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I have 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, like that. And then I'm just going to have a small piece that comes out from that one. I don't need to go across because they're all touching, so I don't need to go across like that. So I'm just going to cut out a small piece. Now I'm going to use to connect back to the main PCB. Now, so this is the part I'm working with. I'm going to arrange my batteries in that order. One thing I will say is when you do tap these guys like so, you want to make sure the bottom is not like too rigid because once it's tapped, you don't want a situation where it's like this. To where you tap the top and then it's like this, but then you get to the bottom and the bottom is just way too wide. So you want to make sure Now they have battery holders that you can place them in, but they're too large for this. The spacing is not correct. So I'm gonna show you how I use my where is it? How I make these batteries with my portable tapper. Sorry, portable spot welder. So I'll place it on there like that. Try and make it as flat as possible. Oh yeah, that's what the scrubber is for. So just rough the edge a little bit to help. So put it next to each other. Just kind of lay it flat. And then the way it works is, so let me put all this to the side. I really need to clean my clean my bench to make it more presentable, but that's in another time. So turn this on. And then, okay. So definitely don't want these to touch. Put one in. Put it to the side where it's not touching anything. Put the other one in. Put it side where it's not touching anything. Hopefully. You don't want them to have any contact. By themselves, they're fine, but together, they're dangerous. So, I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to place this one on top. Let me get my tweezers to help. And I'm just making sure that I'm mimicking the same orientation as this one. Positive, positive, negative, negative. So this is where the beauty of this guy comes in. So I'm going to move it a little bit. Hold it in place. Where I want the first. So it's going to create two solder points. And I'm just going to touch it once. And that's it. Now I adjusted the settings on this to show how deep and intense it needs to be. There's another video where you can see what the settings should be. In my case, they don't need to be that big. And that's it. So that guy's tapped. I'm going to put this one in the corner, put this one right here, and then you can see it's attached. It's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to get my second one, put it right next to it. And remember, it has to be in an orientation where you don't want the bottom part to flail out. So you want to try and like just bunch it together the best you can. And then I'm going to put this one here above it, like so. Make sure it doesn't like bend out or bow out in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to put this down here. First, I'm going to tap this one to that one. Like that. So now it's attached. And then I'm going to go here, hold this down here. It doesn't have to be close, but it has to be far enough. There. So that one's done. And we'll bring it closer. So I have that there, that here, and I'm going to put this one here. So again, just making sure I'm as close in shape as possible. And then, oh, did I put it underneath? Where'd my other nickel go? Oh, there it is. It's down here. So I'm going to try and make it as flat as possible. Obviously, if I want to retain the shape, I would go across, but I don't need to because they're all touching. And we're going to do that here anyways. So same thing. one down there, making sure it's in place. I'm gonna hold it here. And then now that you kind of have it there, you can go ahead and add additional tacks if you want, just to make sure that's not going anywhere. And then for this little piece that's going to come up from here to up here, I'm gonna cut it because this one is way too big. So I'm gonna cut it like that. And I'm gonna cut this one like this. So kind of just have that little shape. Obviously, if the nickel that you have to connect is thinner, then you don't need to do this, but in my case, I do. So I'm gonna put it here. And I'll hold it down. And I'm gonna get the other one to tap. There. Now I'll just do another one for good measure. There. So that side is done. Now I'm going to connect the other two. Where are they here? So this is positive, positive. I'm going to put this to the side. Positive, positive. And I'm just going to get cut some nickel here to use. Just kind of measure it. And this one's going to come out a bit more because it's going to be to the other. It's going to connect to the PCB at the top. So then I'm going to do the same thing. Just trim off the edge a little bit. Ooh. I dropped it. And I'm bleeding. Okay, trim off the edge a little bit. This stuff is sharp also, so you got to be careful. Yeah, so something like that. Then, so let's just measure. So looking at the original one and this one, I believe that's enough. Yeah, I'm gonna move it up a bit just so it's there. And then I'm gonna tap that side first. So tap it in place. So that guy's not moving. Make sure it's as close as possible without causing the bottom part to kind of bow or bend in any shape or form. So just move it in place and then tap. And then now just go ahead and tap a little. And then just cross for measure. There we go. So now we have our guys here. So obviously if I put this guy on there, yeah, there'll be enough to go up here to solder there and solder here. Positive, positive, negative, negative. I think we're good. So now we need to do the other side. And to keep everything in because like I said, my best understanding of electronics, three are in parallel, and then both of them are now in series, which would give you the 10.8 volts, or it could be the other way around. So now I'm going to turn this over like so, and then turn this over like so. So we have the exact same negative, negative, positive, positive, negative, negative. And then I'm going to tack those two together, spot weld those two together. So measures roughly around there. And then, yeah, this is why it's good to have tweezers, because sometimes things just fall. It's just easier to pick them up with tweezers. So I'm going to put this here like so. It's actually maybe too much, so I'm going to trim off the edges. Okay, so that's good for now. Now, another thing I need to show you guys. So on this bottom piece, there's this one off the edge, which you connect, and then there's one off the edge here we also connect. Now, these wires aren't long enough to reach. You could replace them, but it'll just be easier to tack another piece to meet it there in the middle. So I'm just going to do that. So put this here like so, and then just tap, do another cross. Okay, so that one's there. And then now, this is kind of where you have to make sure it's kind of in place and not just flailing around the place. So I know this is a good spot. I'm going to tack it here. And I'm going to tack it here. And then now for this piece, I'm just going to cut one that's long enough to meet up with this guy. Now I can go from like here all the way up here, and then I'll just add solder at the end there. I'll just cut it a little bit more. Now, obviously, the reason why they do this is because this makes a better connection. I forget what it is, but you don't want to ever put solder on these type of batteries. You want to solder, you want to spot weld them like this in place. Because if you put solder on them, I forget if it's bad for how bad it is for the battery. Now, that smoke that you saw was because I had these guys too close to each other. So it will smoke like that if you do that. So this side is done. So now we're going to go here to here, here to here. So I need, so the same thing. I just need 3. I could do 4. Let me just do 4 so you can see what that looks like. But I really need just 3 because these guys just, it's all the same. So around there, that's a good cut. Let's see if that was good. Yep, that's good. So I'm gonna cut 4 more. So this, another 4. Yeah, doing something like this is, I mean, okay, so you have to think, Moxie, this battery was going to go bad. How bad it went is anyone's guess, but eventually it was going to go bad. Then how would users replace it? They would have to send it in to be serviced. And then you have to think, okay, who's going to do all that servicing? Well, it'll have to be embodied. Okay, then how much are they going to charge you to fix that? So you would think probably one thing they could do is they could have like some like loyalty program or something like that where, hey, we know your battery might go bad or things might go south with your, okay, this is where I need to make sure these guys are in place. Might go south with your Moxie, so just pay us a monthly fee, and then we'll take care of you regardless of what happens. That's additional revenue. But then who's going to want to do that? Because people were already saying Moxie was expensive enough as it was, which it was, but justifiably so. There's nothing else on the market like it. But if you had to send in your Moxie to get fixed, you'd have to get new batteries or have a stock of them And then I guess replacing them would be easier. They wouldn't have to do stuff like this. But I mean, that's just something that they would have to do. So I don't know. It's just those additional costs with running or having a robot like Moxie need to be factored into place. Because even me doing something like this, if I'm still boggling my mind. What am I going to charge someone to fix their battery, to where it's going to be affordable for them and affordable for me to do it? Because so it's going to take this whole process from taking Moxie apart and then putting them together is going to take about like an hour, 30 minutes. So, okay, then how much would I charge for that time? How much would I charge for the materials? And if it becomes a steady flow of people's, well, there aren't that many Moxies out there, but if it's something that I need to do all the time, then I need to charge a fee that's worth my time, but then also affordable to people. So we'll see. We'll see if there's a market for this. Because I know there are people's Moxies whose batteries have died, because of the 6 I have, only 2 of them are working. Okay. So that one's there. Now I just need to do this one and then tack another one here for the negative. And I think what I'm going to do is, just because I know I need to go down here, I'm just going to cut a longer piece and then edge it to that angle to where it meets that battery, because I don't want to tack another one on top, because then that kind of messes with the connection. So I'm going to go like this to here. Yeah, so around here. And then I don't need that much, so I'm just going to trim for out of the trash. And then go at an angle like this. So far, nothing's smoking, which is good, because when I first did this, I made a lot of I didn't make a lot of mistakes, but I made mistakes enough to where things started sparking and there was smoke. Maybe I'll show that video at the end of this one. Oh, also make sure you don't get to the edges, because that was one mistake I made. I ended up tacking around here, and then like, I don't know what it did, but the battery did not like it. Okay, so we have our battery set. I don't need to spot weld anything anymore. The bottom side is done. The top side is done, so I'm going to turn this off. Thank you, spot welder, and I'm going to put it to the side. So now we have this bottom side done. It's time to connect our board. And as you can see, this is kind of what I was saying. I connected the bottom part too loosely to where there's this gap, as you can see. It'll still work in my case. Let me see. Yeah, it'll still work in our case, but I need to be careful when I do that, because like I said, I didn't make sure that the bottoms were connected. So now there's this gap here, but it'll still work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Kapton tape. Actually, no, I'm going to use one of these and just go across. Like so. And then I'm going to tape it down with some Kapton tape. Just so it doesn't go anywhere. And just to protect the terminals, and then I'm going to put some at the bottom of this one also. Okay. So just kind of protect there. And then as you can see, there really isn't anything that, because it has this silk screen on there, but it's best to be safe than sorry. And then I'm gonna just put it here like so. So I need to move it over a bit. And then connect this here. And then connect that there. So I'm gonna make sure I don't touch anything. I'm just gonna cut a little bit off. And then here is where, so now I just need to hold, so I'm gonna put a bunch of solder. Make sure my guys on the other side are able to come down. So yeah, it's close enough. You're gonna put a bunch of solder here. And do the same thing on this side. So now I need to push it down. So I'm just going to use this to kind of, well, hold the PCB down. I need to hold this down so it doesn't move as the solder melts. Okay. And the same thing on this side. Make sure it has a connection, which it does. Okay. So that side's connected. Still have my protective stuff underneath. Nothing's on fire. I'm going to place it down like this. So now this, as we recall, was just for, I believe, temperature sensor. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to tape across just to try and keep it together. So I'm going to get some Kapton tape. Move this one out of the way. Maybe that's what I should have done in the beginning. Maybe on my next one, I'll see if that helps keep it in tune so that it doesn't like wobble and go all bent up out of shape. Okay. So that one's done. Like so. Okay. Now this one goes all the way up here. Okay, so I'm going to put this down like this. I'm going to scuff this up because that helps with the solder sticking. I'm going to go like that. Put some solder. Oop! I had one. See, my solder went across the terminals and it broke in half. So you gotta, yeah, you definitely gotta be careful when working with these batteries. Okay, so put that there. Should be enough. Nicely connected. So I'm just going to tuck it underneath. Well, if I can. Because it needs to measure the temperature. Okay. So I'm just going to put it there. And then scuff this side. Put some solder on there. And then connect this bad boy. Okay. And now Our batteries, well, almost complete. Let me move some of these. Okay, so the bottom is done. The sides are done. I'm gonna put this on here like so. It's not going anywhere. And then I'm gonna try to see if I can put it back in this housing. So it goes in there like that. Well, let me show you. So it goes in there like that, kind of. And then, oh, I added the wrong way. This needs to be, so put this back. This needs to be on the outside. Go in there like that. This goes above. It's not going to be perfect. It's just enough to kind of hold the battery together in place. There you go. Something like that. And then now what I'm going to do, because nothing's burning, nothing's on fire, I'm going to get some tape, and I'm just going to tape it across like so. So there we go. We have reselled a Moxie battery. Nothing's burning. My hand is not on fire. Everything's together. So now we're going to test it by connecting it back to the board and then seeing if it charges. So I have a spare board here that I'm going to use. So this was the first battery I did. It's in there. So this is what supplies 14 volts. No, sorry, not 14 volts. Yeah, 14 volts to the board. And then, oh no, I'm gonna use the original one because that one has the light to tell us if it's charging. So I'll use this spare one. So we have our guy back. Still in one piece, almost. I'm gonna plug. So I'm gonna get a power supply and plug that in here. So this is the official adapter. It's plugged in. I plug it in. I'm gonna move it like this so it doesn't just put stress on that port. And then if I turn it on, you kind of see a light on there. A lot of things are missing, so I need to plug this back in so I can get a signal. So I'm going to plug that back in. So there it is, kind of. You can see that light on there. Let me turn it off. Let me move this a bit. Okay, so the light is on when I turn it on. At least I thought I turned it on. So now it's off, but there's no battery or there's nothing indicating that it's charging or anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug this guy back in. So I've plugged the battery in, and then, so now currently Moxie is off. And then I'm gonna plug in the adapter, and then this light should be orange, indicating that it's charging. And there it is. You can't see in this video, but the light is orange. Before, what was happening was the light was going between orange and pink or orange and purple, just indicating that there was something wrong. But now, because I replaced the battery and the battery is now functioning, it's now just a solid orange, indicating that it's charging. And once it's fully charged, it will, I believe, turn off. So that's what's involved with, let me take this off. That's what's involved with replacing Moxie's battery. Definitely keep this one as a reference. Yeah, it looks like they glued them or something together, but yeah. Further adventures with Moxie and robots continue. I'll probably tape this up a bit more and then I'll stick it back in. Well, I'll just do this now. So I know it's good. Light went orange. Actually, I don't really need to do anything. So you just take this. Here, I'm going to disconnect this so I don't rip my wires. So disconnect that guy just so you have more leverage. Put the battery back in. As you can see, it fits. And then just wire this through. Well, if you can see. So it fits in there just fine. Wire this through. If I can wire it through. And then now we're ready to tape it all, or not tape, we're ready to screw everything back together. So it fits in place. Original wires coming out. Where are my tweezers? Take that off. Take this off. Oh, those are for the speakers. I took the wrong ones off. So put those back. Those are for the speakers. And so it's 1, 2, 3 right there in the middle, which is one of those 4. So these two that I had saved on my bench. And then I'm going to just, so screw that one in, grab this other guy, put it in at the top, get my electric screwdriver, which saves my wrists from developing carpal tunnel syndrome from opening all these bots. Put that one in and take this one out. Put that one in. One of my tweezers again. Take that one out. There it is. The battery has been upgraded. I'm going to put this guy back. Yeah. let me take these guys out because it's not easy to put this guy back with the screws in there. So line them up. Oh, I need to probably take these guys out of here on this side. Yeah, so take my screws out. Oop. Thankfully, all 4 are the same. So then just line these guys up. So I'll do this side first. Pop it in place. That one's done. Get this other guy. Pop him into place. And then the other guy. Oh, that one didn't come out, so that's good. And then I will just screw him in place. I think it went. Yep. And be careful when messing with the speaker because this is the membrane and you don't want to puncture that or damage it in any way or else you'll be having to look for another speaker. Now for your Moxie. Oop, it fell. Okay, let me pick that up. Get my tweezers for precision placement. Then, whoa, there we go. Okay, so battery's back in place. I'm going to plug these guys back in if I remember where they go. Okay, so this one goes, where did this one go? Oh, it's not on here, it's on the other board. Was it? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, that's where it went. So this one, this little guy, went here on the side. If I can get it to go back into where it went. This way, ooh. Where tweezers come into place. And it'll only fit one way, so you just have to make sure you orient it the right way first. Ideally, I should have taken it off the main board because it's much harder to put this one in. And I'm not even sure if I'm putting it in the right way. Okay, I think that's right. I'll watch the video to double check. So that one's there, and then this other one, so that's the speaker one. This other one went, where did you go? Where is your PCB? It wasn't up there. I know that. I honestly don't know where this one goes. And I know it's somewhere around here. So it's not that guy. Oh, it's this guy. And I need to take the speakers off. Because it goes in between the speakers down there too. Yeah. Okay. I just need to turn this to the side. And then take speakers off. Okay. Get my tweezers. Okay, just turn this over. Okay, and the guy fell down over here. Okay. And then take the speakers off on this side. Okay. So don't do what I did. Reattach first before you put your speakers back on. So reattach that guy back, then you put your speakers back on. And I'm going to turn it over to this side. Make sure I don't damage my speaker's membrane. Okay. Did I put it? Yeah, I put it the right way. It's just so difficult to work with this. So I'm going to take this off because that's Yeah, it's just easier to do. So take that off, put the speaker back on, and then plug it back in place. So take this guy. Okay, that one's in the spot. I think I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, I did. I grabbed the wrong one. You do not belong there. Okay, that's much more better. Yeah, that screw is for something else. Okay, and then put this back here. Where in the world? Oh, no. No. Okay. I may cut the video because it's hard to video and record at the same time. But the screw kind of fell in, but then now it's stuck on the magnets of this motor. So I need to take this off again. So let me take this off again. Okay. So I know that one's there. So I know you fell. There you are. Yeah, it's stuck. And it doesn't want to come out. So I'm going to try and see if I can surely if it fell in, it can fall out. But because there's a magnet nearby, it doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Whew. Okay. Whatever you do, be careful when you're putting the stuff back together. Okay, so that guy's there. I'm going to be more careful this time. To the side. I'm going to go up like so. And then I'm going to screw this in. Same thing on this side. This side is done. Go over to this side, making sure my cables are not being pulled or damaged in any way. Use my tweezers this time. Make sure it goes into a spot. That one's done. Yep. Use my tweezers this time. Put it in the spot. And then just push down. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to plug this back in. So that's in. I'm going to look at the other ones to just make sure the orientation for this guy is correct. So it should be black, red, white. Which is correct. Black, red, white. So now that I have that done, I'm going to connect this guy back. This is the speaker cable from the top. I'm going to connect the 14 volts plug. I'm going to connect the battery back. And then everything should be the way it is. And then I'm going to attach this one back. Take that off. Take this off. And it goes, where does this go? Right here. Okay, I plugged everything back that should be plugged in. Let's make sure everything's always plugged in. Now I'm going to try and put this back into place. So first thing first is, I'm probably not, I probably didn't even need to take this piece off. How did I think about it? So maybe I didn't need to take that piece off. No, I did, because then I wouldn't have been able to pull this down. So I'm going to put this up here and then try and put this so there's a hole. Well, let me finish putting this guy back together. So take that one off. Take this off. And then because I know it's fine, it's going to go into here. Same thing here, into metal. Make sure it's aligned. Okay. And then take this one off. Just want to make sure they're aligned, or else obviously the screws won't go in. Like that one's not doing, so I need to make sure no, it's not aligned on the top. Oh, so I need to loosen that a bit. Loosen this side a bit. Loosen this side a bit, and loosen this side a bit. And then, there we go. Put it to where it slots in, and then you can now screw it in. Not too much, like I think I just did. Might have broken something. Okay, so now with that one done, so this is going to go in there, and that one is also going to go in that hole on the side. But I need to put this back in to match. And then kind of like groove. Obviously, I'm doing this the difficult way. And I don't know any other easier way to do this. Because it needs to go here, like so. And then inside. And then I need to open this one up. Maybe I need to do the other side first. So let me do the other side first. So I'm going to go and put this in on this side first. Make sure the wires are out of the way so I'm not like pinching anything. So that one's in. And then there we go. Something like that. Okay. And I'm just going to make sure these wires are not pinched or in harm's way. And I'm going to put that side piece in first, which I believe was over here. So there was only one screw on this side. Oh. Oh, this one's going to be a lot harder to put in. Come on now. Goodness gracious. Okay. Gonna try some magic here. There we go. I think I may have to cut this video short because putting it in is just going to be the reverse of what you did. So just always pay attention to where you put your screws. And then there we go. Okay. Okay, so that side's done. Now I'm going to do this other side, which has these guys. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was, if I'm not mistaken, 1. Oh, I must have moved them out of the way as I was doing stuff. That's why it's always dangerous to have a bunch of stuff on your table while you're working. So, actually, no, it's correct. It's 3, not 5. I was looking at the wrong things. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me move this up so you can see. 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one. So 1, 2, yeah, this is gonna be one of those tasks that I'm not even sure if I want to do any offer as a service because it takes, well, I may offer it as a service. It's just, it takes very long to do to where the wait time to get it done might be longer than normal. Typically, I like doing things to where I say, once I get it, it'll be 24/7 before you get it, before I'm done with it. But this one is such a task that it warrants taking the extra time to make sure everything works. And then there we go, just making sure he's pivoting okay. The membrane is fine. Okay. Now we just put it back together like we did taking it apart, which I'm gonna spare you that time, but that's how you get to the battery. That's how you change it. That's how you resell it. Make sure things don't cross or else you have sparks like this. Did I do it on the wrong place? No, I'm not even gonna try that. But okay. There's Moxie. And I will catch you. Moxie's battery replaced, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.